Greetings to all the students. I welcome you all on the YouTube platform of NEXT IAS, and you are watching Daily News Analysis, an initiative of the NEXT IAS where we discuss important articles published in the newspapers, The Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIBs. So today, with the help of this video, we are going to cover topics in decoded session, simultaneous elections, and in explained session, the fourth topic will be quantum technology, PM e-drive scheme, cloud computing and Semicon India. And do not forget to watch What to Read of initiative of NEXT IAS, where we discuss all the topics that are probable to be studied from the different newspapers. So now start with the today's first topic, that is simultaneous elections in India, visible over your screen. And this topic is quoting that simultaneous elections bill gives Election Commission of India unbridled powers, loopholes remain, ex-CGI. This topic has been covered in both the newspapers, The Hindu and the Express, and in PIB as well. And this topic is of great importance with respect to your paper 2, which is polity and governance. So now, what are we going to discuss in this topic? First, we'll deal with the historical context, then reasons for push, that means the need for the simultaneous elections in India, then what are the challenges associated, key recommendations of high-level committees as well, and certain recent developments that are taking place. So now, what is simultaneous elections? It refers to holding elections to Lok Sabha and all state legislative assemblies at the same time once every 5 years. This means the voters across the country would elect their central and state representative in a single electoral exercise. We need to understand that in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, there were 4 or 5 other states as well, where the simultaneous election exercise was practiced by the Election Commission. Now, a little bit of historical context. For say, in 1951, 52, 57, 62, 67, elections to the Lok Sabha and all state assemblies were held simultaneously in India. This cycle was disrupted due to premature dissolution of state assemblies and the Lok Sabha afterwards. Since then, India had witnessed election almost every year at some level, leading to a frequent imposition of model code of conduct and a governance paralysis. Why a governance paralysis? Because once the MCC, the model code of conduct, has been regularized and practiced by the Election Commission, that means that the government concerned cannot take any decision for the welfare of the people and for the state concerned. That is why the governance paralysis word has been used continuously. Now, the reasons behind the push, that means why are we needed or why are we looking for the simultaneous elections in India? So the first is frequent policy paralysis. That means once the MCC has been invoked, it will lead to or it will restrict to the announcement of new scheme, administrative transfer will not take place, the projects, different projects launches will not take place as well. For say, during 2019 elections, MCC delayed Ayushman Bharat hospital empanelment in some state, which stalled certain infrastructure projects like road, housing under PMAY, Prime Minister Prime Minister Awas Yojana, right? Second, disruption to the governance and the education as well. How? The repeated deployment of government officers as election staff, for say teachers, revenue officers, different Group A officers, Group B officers, affect the delivery of the essential services. For example, that during the 2022 Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections, over 3.5 lakh government employees were deployed, many from the education sector, impacting classroom learning and midday meal schemes as well. And I must let you know that managing these 3.5 lakh of the government employee to conduct the election process smoothly, it's not an easy thing. It is very tedious task to maintain. Why? There are so many problems associated with the different people, especially with the female, the government employees. So managing this thing is a very huge thing, and it involves the cost as well. Third, the election fatigue among the voters. What does it mean? It means that frequent polls in various states, local bodies and national elections reduces voter enthusiasm. Election is a festival. Enthusiasm has to be there. But imagine the condition that for say panchayat poll are there, municipalities polls are there, Lok Sabha polls are there, state assembly polls are there, and different persuasion taxes are been taking place. That is the reason that all those things combine into one single thing and make sure that the election fatigue among the voters will take place. For example, in local by-elections, the voter turnout often dips below 40%, which is far lower than the general election, which is nearby around 65% average for the India, right? So this is a major concern. Fourth, economic benefits. For say, Mr. Ramnath Kovind committee in 2024 estimated that simultaneous elections would boost GDP by 1.5 percentage points. That means the reduced disruption would improve the investment climate in India. Second, curb inflationary spending in India or spending in India. Third, it will result in positive social outcomes like enhancement in the school enrollment and lesser the crime rates. Why? Because the more focus will be on the law and order rather than the conducting the elections, right? That means one more example to quote is that the Center for Media Studies estimate that around 1.3 lakh crore was spent on 2024 Lok Sabha elections alone. This figure is not small. This figure is definitely not small. The expenditure could be significantly reduced if the elections were held simultaneously. If I add the money spent by different parties for the particular elections based on the report of ADR, then you people will be mesmerized that more than 8 or 9,000 crores rupees has been spent by the different political parties over their political campaigning. That amount of money is to be laid in a different manner. It's a report is been given by the ADR, right? Now, the fifth part, polarization issue. That means continuous campaigning fosters the identity politics. What does it mean? For say, polarized campaigning or religious caste lines has intensified in the states like West Bengal and Karnataka during the back-to-back elections. That means rather than the welfare or the development aspect of the elections, the caste or the religious line has been intensified during the elections, which is definitely not good for the development of India in large and for the democratic society of India in large. Sixth, improved planning and resource use. For say, a synchronized electoral calendar enables shared polling stations, common use of EVMs and VVPATs, and the better coordination of security forces and the media coverages. Seventh, efficient security deployment. This is the point that I was quoting earlier, that each election requires thousands of police, paramilitary and CAPF personnel to deploy or to perform duty, right? Example, in 2024 Lok Sabha polls, over 10 lakh security personnel were mobilized nationally so that the smooth conduction of the election can take place. And now, eighth point, a better voter turnout. Again, you may link this with the voter enthusiasm issue or the voter fatigue issue. For say, combined elections make campaign more visible, increase more awareness and streamline voter engagement. And if this thing will take place, in near future we may determine that there will be a debate culture between the leaders like the America and the different countries may take place. Why? Because the voters are now more enthusiastic towards understanding the notion of development and their agendas, their perspectives and their vision associated, right? So this might take place in future. Now, with better voter turnout, the example that we can have is in 2024, Andhra Pradesh held assembly and Lok Sabha elections simultaneously, recording higher voter turnouts 78.36 for the assembly and 81.86 for the Lok Sabha, right? Now, if the picture is so gloomy, then there must certain challenges associated. The first challenge is the federal structure concern. That means the state fear loss of autonomy as aligning with the national elections may override their democratic mandate and the timing as well. Second, weakened local mandates means that regional or local parties may be marginalized, reducing their representation of state-specific concern, which affect the federal balance of power. Third, a longer accountability gaps. That means if all the elections are held once in every 5 years, voters lose the opportunity to express dissatisfaction periodically through midterm polls or by-elections. And we have witnessed this thing quite often in India, that the particular people who voted for a particular party in the Lok Sabha has shown their dissatisfaction when they are voting in the state assemblies, quoting that the concerned central party will need to understand that there are certain flaws in the policies, right? This thing will be evaded if the simultaneous election will take place. Fourth, logistical demands. The election commission would require double the number of EVM and VVPAT, additional polling staff and expanded infrastructure to manage the concurrent polls. Fifth, the legal and the political consensus are lagging. That means it requires the broad consensus across all political parties, especially from regional parties and the state governments. And the sixth, voter behavior confusion. That means simultaneous elections may blur the distinction between national and state issues, affecting informed and issues-based voting at the state level. Now, we should discuss the key recommendations in the past regarding the simultaneous elections. The first was Law Commission 2018, which supported the simultaneous elections, and it recommended constitutional and procedural safeguard to ensure feasible and legal validity of the simultaneous elections. Second, Niti Aayog in its report 2017 proposed the elections in two phases. The first phase, Lok Sabha plus elections in half the states. Second, remaining states after 2.5 years. This is very practical aspect, I would say, right? Third, the Parliamentary Standing Committee 2015, they backed the idea of simultaneous polls, and they recommended introducing a constructive no confidence vote to maintain government stability and prevent mid-term collapse as well. This is very good idea to be taken care. Now, the high-level committee on one nation, one election that was appointed or under the former president, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, right, regarding the simultaneous elections. Now, the key recommendation of the Ramnath Kovind sub-panel committee was, first, a two-step implementation plan. That means they took the idea of a Niti Aayog. First, synchronize Lok Sabha and state assembly elections. First. Second, conduct local body elections, that means panchayata and the municipalities, within 100 days of phase 1. Second, constitutional amendments suggested by the Ramnath Kovind panel. They asked to introduce Article 82A to fix a uniform election schedule with a common appointment date, right? Second, they asked to amend Article 83, 85, 172, 174, 356 to allow for flexible term adjustment of Lok Sabha and the state assemblies. They even asked to add Article 324A to empower Parliament to legislate on simultaneous elections to the local bodies. And at last, they asked to amend Article 325 for a single electoral roll and voter ID for all levels, that means Parliament, state and the locals. After that, they asked even addressing mid-term dissolution. That means if a legislature is dissolved before term completion, the fresh elections should be held only for the unexpired term. That means for, say, the party or the government is for 5 years, and after 2 years we got to know that the dissolution took place. So the new polls would be held for the party to be governed for 3 coming years, not for the coming 5 years. Next, handling hung issues. How? In the event of hung issues, caretaker government may function until the next synchronized elections. Rest, no confidence motion should be linked with the constructive vote of confidence like in Germany, which requires a proposed alternative leader to run the government. Next, the implementation mechanism. That means the committee asked to set up a dedicated implementation group to oversee the legal reforms, the election logistics, and the coordination between the election commissions and the state election commissions and the other concerned. Now, the possible timeline, that means from which the simultaneous election can take place. So, we are just thinking that a full synchronization should ideally begin 2029. It was even recommended by It was even recommended by Ramnath Kovind panel. Ramnath Kovind panel, right? And between 2024-2029, elections to some state assemblies may need term adjustment, curtailment, or extension. That is going to be a challenge, or I would say a federal challenge for the government to counter with or to counter with. Now, certain recent development regarding the initiation of the simultaneous election. So, the Constitution, the 129th Amendment Bill, along with the Union Territories Law Bill Amendment 2024 was introduced in the Lok Sabha in December 2024, aiming to enable simultaneous elections at the national and at the state level. Second, consequently, both the bills were referred to the Joint Parliamentary Committee chaired by BJP MP Mr. MP PP Chaudhary. So, we are expecting that a sooner a decision will be taken place and issues like simultaneous election will take place in India. Now, this is the previous year's question paper that was asked by the UPSC, which is visible over on your screen, and another previous year's question paper, right? Now, let's start the 4 explained topics, which is again visible over your screen. The first topic will be the quantum safe cybersecurity. The government had brought up, or I would say the MeitY had launched the white paper to guide India's shift towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat and quantum safe cybersecurity, and this topic is important with respect to your science and technology GS paper 3. 2 more things which is important. First is the CERT-In and the CISA, because they launched transition to quantum cyber readiness to guide India's shift towards a quantum safe future through encryption innovation. We must not forget that UPSC may ask this kind of thing regarding their prelims examination, or may link both in a single question to gauge your understanding with respect to the implementation agencies as well. For that perspective, this is important. Now, this is about the news we have discussed. Now, the quantum computing. What is quantum computing? So, quantum computing harnesses the law of quantum mechanics to process information in a way that they are fundamentally different from the traditional computing. How? Unlike classical bits, which hold the value of either 1 or 0, the quantum bits, which is called the qubits, can exist in multiple states at once. That means 0 and 1. This is the difference. Now, this 0 and 1 capability allows quantum computers to tackle highly complex problems much faster than the classical machines. There are core principles of quantum computing. For say, first one is superposition. Qubits can exist in a combination of both 0 and 1. This is the point that I quoted, states simultaneously. This enables quantum system to evaluate many possibilities at once, dramatically speeding up the complex computation. This thing you may witness, that a person can live in a like a time machine, that a person can live in the past, present and future. This is the very same manner that the data can be exist in 0 and 1 both. Second, entanglement. Qubits can be entangled, meaning the state of one qubit is intrinsically linked to the state of another, even across large distance. They just say that for say there is a north and the south pole, and if one point or the qubit is dancing in here, it starts dancing, for suppose hypothetical point. If it starts dancing at the north pole and the second one is standing in the south pole, it will automatically start dancing. This is the point that this line is trying to convey. Again repeat, qubits can be entangled, meaning the state of one qubit is intrinsically linked to the state of another, even across large distance, north to south. This leads to highly efficient and coordinated processing. Quantum interference. Quantum algorithms leverage interference to enhance the probability of correct outcomes while diminishing the chances of errors, thereby improving computational precision. Now, fourth one is quantum measurement. Means when a quantum state is measured, it collapses to a different value, either 0 or 1. Why this step is crucial? This step is crucial for extracting meaningful results from the quantum computations, and the quantum computations is used for different aspects. For say it can be used for weather, for forecasting, right? Reading the encryption messages, decoding the messages, it can be used for the security and for say different purposes. So this quantum measurement is useful in that particular sense. Now, India's quantum leap, the key milestones in India's part. How? In 2018, Department of Science and Technology launches Quantum Enabled Science and Technology Quest program. In 2022, 2020 में the Government of India launched National Mission on Quantum Technologies and Applications. In 2022, ISRO develops quantum communication using the satellite links, and in 2023, India tests quantum key distribution between Prayagraj and Vindhyachal of 100 kilometers. It is just like a cable which was run between the Prayagraj and the Vindhyachal. Fourth, in 2024, the works begin on quantum computers with 50 to 100 qubits. This is the exact path that is going on in the developmental phases of the quantum computing in India. Now, the white paper of quantum cyber readiness, what does it say exactly? First, it says about the guidance for quantum safe migration, which aims to help organizations across sectors begin transitioning to quantum resilient system. Second, it calls for framework for quantum readiness that offers a structured approach to prepare for the quantum threat landscape. Third, impact analysis, which evaluates how quantum computing could compromise current cryptographic system and how it can compromise or help India's digital infrastructure per se. Fourth, migration to quantum resistant algorithms. That means it recommends strategic pathways to adopt post-quantum cryptography for enhanced security. Fifth, a practical integration approaches. It suggests how to embed new security protocols into existing system without disrupting operations. And sixth, it quoted that they are trying to ensure compliance and the continuity. Matlab, they are emphasizing maintaining regulatory compliance and operational stability during the transition. This is the point that the white paper on the quantum cyber security, quantum cyber readiness has quoted. Now, this is very specific prelims based understanding. I would say the factual understanding, which is regarding CERT-IN, which is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. So, CERT-IN is a national cybersecurity agency under the IT Amendment Act 2000. Again, this kind of act are highly important for the prelims examination confirmed, which is responsible for, that means the CERT-IN responsible for collecting, analyzing and sharing information of cyber incidents. Second, issuing alerts and forecasts of cybersecurity threats. Third, taking emergency measures during cyber incidents. Fourth, coordinating response to national cyber incident. Fifth, publishing guidelines, advisors, white papers on cybersecurity practices. And last, it performing other government mandated cyber related functions. Now, this is a practice question over your screen. Practice it for sure and let us know the answer of it as well in the comment section. Now, the second topic of today's part is e-truck incentive scheme. India rolls out first ever e-truck incentive scheme under Prime Minister Modi's Green Mobility Vision. Now, 2-3 things are very important with this topic. First, the Green Mobility Vision. The Green Mobility Vision, which is in itself is a very mains-only topic. Second, PM e-drive scheme, which we are going to cover in today's video, right? So, and the third is of course the e-truck incentive scheme, that what are those major objectives. Now, we must not forget when the Prime Minister said that our goal is not just to build infrastructure but to build a future that is green, clean and inclusive. You need to practice to add this kind of quote while writing your answer for the essay and for mains. So, for that particular purpose, we are giving you this unique aspect as well. Now, the highlights of the e-truck incentive scheme. The first, the rationale is, though diesel trucks form only 3% of the vehicles. They contribute 42% of the transport related greenhouse gas emissions. This is a huge thing. This is a huge data, I would say. Right? Target vehicle categories. Demand incentives will be extended to N2, N3 category electric trucks. N2 category trucks, gross vehicle weight above 3.5 tons up to 12 tons, and N3 category trucks, gross value weight exceeding 12 tons and up to 55 tons. Objectives and the impacts of the e-truck incentive scheme. The first, it will reduce the logistics cost and boost the adoption of clean energy in heavy transport. Second, it improves the air quality. Why? Because they contribute 42% of the transported greenhouse gas emission. Once it will be reduced, the improved air quality will be there with us, particularly in urban and industrial areas. Third, it supports India's goal for net zero by 2070 and Viksit Bharat by 2047. And at last, it contributes to building a self-reliant electric mobility ecosystem in India. Now, a little bit aspect regarding PM e-drive scheme. It stands for Prime Minister Electric Drive Resolution in Innovative Vehicle Enhancement, was launched to accelerate EV adoption, develop charging infrastructure, and strengthen India's EV manufacturing ecosystem. The scheme came into effect from 1st of October 2024 and will run until March 31, 2026. That means it will be there for 2 years. This is again a very prelims specific understanding. Now, the key objectives of Prime Minister e-drive scheme is: first, it promotes mass adoption of electric vehicles, especially in the public transport. First thing. Second, it reduces the environmental impact of transportation and improve the air quality. And the third thing, the advanced domestic EV manufacturing under the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission through a phased manufacturing program. And the major components of PM drive is, for say, the subsidies. This is again specific for the prelims part. For say 10,000 for E2 vehicles, 50,000 high-end for E3 vehicles, 35 lakhs for the large e-buses, and subsidy vary by vehicle type and battery capacity, but are designed to cover a substantial part of your cost. For e-BAM ambulance and e-truck, this is very important. The PM drive, or I would say the PM e-drive initiative, allocates 500 crores each for its promotion. This is very important for the prelims understanding. Third, the EV charging infrastructure. The scheme supports the installation of 48 4,000 chargers for E2 and E3 wheelers. Second, 2,200 chargers for 4-wheelers. And third, 1800 high power chargers for the e-buses. Now, again, this is the practice question to be practiced from this topic. Let us know the answer in the comment section. Now, the third topic, this is cloud computing, right? Why? Because the Google to discount cloud computing services for the US government is a report. Again, although this is the context out of India, but it has a very relative with the UPSC particular syllabus topic, which is science and technology. Now, what is cloud computing? Exactly hota kya hai? So, cloud computing is a on-demand delivery of IT resources like servers, storage, database, networking, software, infrastructure as well, analytics, different parts over the internet, the cloud, with pay-as-you-go pricing. That means instead of owning physical database centers or servers, organizations can rent access to computer power from cloud service providers like AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, and nowadays there are certain local companies as well who are providing the cloud computing part. Now, the key components of cloud computing, and UPSC has already been asked this software as a self-service and its application in UPSC prelims examination previously. Now, the key components of cloud computing is for 4. First, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Second, PaaS, that means platform as a service. Third, SaaS, that means software as a service. And fourth, FAAS, that means function as a service. That means it runs code in response to the system. In SAS, they deliver software via the internet. In platform service, they offer a platform for the app development, we may say. And for infrastructure as a service, they provide virtualized computers or computing resources. Now the types of cloud deployment, that means different kind of cloud services that are being deployed. The first is public cloud. That means shared by multiple users, which will be cost effective and scalable, and the example is Google Cloud for the public cloud. Second, private clouds, that is used exclusively by only one organization. That means more control and better for the safety of your sensitive data. Third, hybrid cloud, that means mix of public and private cloud. It offers the flexibility and the control over your data as well. Fourth, community cloud, the shared infrastructure between organizations with common concerns, like for say healthcare and the bank care consortiums. Now, why cloud computing matters? Why it is important? First, the business agility. It enables fast deployment and scaling without heavy upfront investment. So it will be highly cost effective. It will be highly cost effective. Second, cost efficiency. Reduce the capital expenditure on hardware and software. Capital expenditure means the money that you are going to spend on your capital. Spent on capital. It will be saved now. So earlier you are about to spend for say 100 rupees on the capital expenditure part, but now you can rent the entire services just within 20, 25 or 30 lakhs. So you may save your 70 rupee, which may be used for further extension or different services. Third, digital services. Power apps like WhatsApp, Netflix, Zomato, DigiLocker and online banking services will be available. Fourth, the data storage and the backup, which is very important segment. It allows organizations to store, retrieve and backup data remotely. This is the most important thing and perhaps the most significant part why they are getting very famous nowadays. Now, there are certain challenges of cloud computing. The first will be the data privacy and the security. One example, for say cloud breach rose 33% in India in 2024 with Aadhaar data leaks and poor storage. Only 37 firms have cloud security officers. Very important thing. Second, internet dependency. Matlab that most cloud services need constant internet, but rural area faces poor speeds. Even short outages causes massive losses, and it will definitely lead to a magical form of, we say, the digital divide. Digital divide, which will be clear between rural and the urban. Third, regulatory compliance means the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 enforces local data storage, raising cost of global providers. Unclear cross-border rules that hinder the SaaS, the services as a software adoption or software as a services adoption. Downtime and the outrage. Frequent outages disrupt major services. That means for say Indian firms face high downtime, 10.2 hours per year with limited backup use. Now again with this reference, this is the practice question over your screen. Do practice, let us know the answer in comment section. Again a practice question. And now the last topic of today's daily news analysis, that is the Semicon India 2025. Why this topic is important? Because the first ever global pavilions, country roundtables, skilling initiative and the designing startup pavilion to witness record shareholder participation took place. Again, this topic is important because the fourth edition of Semicon India 2025 scheduled for September 24 at Yashobhumi. This is very important. Right now, about the news, the Semicon 2025, what exactly in it? So it is a global platform of 8 Semicon exposed worldwide, uniting global semiconductor leaders. First thing, semiconductor. Second, it's like a India's semiconductor push, a flagship initiative to position India as a global hub for chip design, manufacturing and innovation. Third, strategic objectives. It catalyzes global collaboration, boost domestic innovation and promote India as a reliable and scalable electronic hub for the future. Fourth, a favorable ecosystem. Why? because this system is backed by the government. Digital infrastructure is there, skilled workforce is there, a number of good engineers are there. So that is a favorable ecosystem for people. Fifth, a geopolitical opportunity. How? It aims to leverage global chip shortages and supply chain diversification. And last, the MITI, to build a sustainable, globally competitive semiconductor and display ecosystem in India. Now a little bit of background. India imports 100% of its semiconductor at this moment. That is why this initiative is very important. Global semiconductor market is expected to reach by 1 trillion by 2030. In 2021, India launched 76,000 crores semiconductor mission. The Semiconductor Mission India program 2022-2026 is implemented by Indian Semiconductor Mission under the Digital Indian Corporation. Now the objectives of Semicon India 2025. First, attract chip manufacturing, which will be helpful for building and supporting labs for logic, memory, analog and compound semiconductors. Second, design ecosystem. That means they are trying to promote 100 plus Indian semiconductors design startup via incentives. Third, supply chain resilience. They reduce the dependency on China and East Asia, create India-backed based backend facilities. Fourth, a talent development. The government of India is trying to train engineers for over 85,000 via Semicon India Future Skills Program by 2026 to make this program in a running mode from 2026 or 2027 onwards. Global partnership. Indian government has been trying to establish a strategic partnership with countries like USA, Japan, Taiwan and EU firms for the development and manufacturing of semiconductors in India. Now the importance of Semicon India 2025. The first, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Again, the 100% imports are there, so it will reduce the import. First thing. Second, economic growth. It is expected to create around 1 lakh direct and 2.5 lakh indirect jobs in India by 2027. Third, Industry 4.0 enablement. How? It supports AI, IoT, EVs and the data economy through the domestic chip production. Fourth, strategic sovereignty. How? It enhances national security by securing critical infrastructure like defense and cyber security. This is a very same area where the quantum key distribution was being practiced by the government of India. Fifth, geo-economic advantage. That means it positions India as a trusted alternative in the global China plus one supply chain initiative or strategy. This is again very important, and you may witness that the reason the government's focus has been tilted. The government focus has been tilted towards the semiconductors. Right? Now a little bit of challenge regarding Semicon in India 2025. The first one is high capital needs. The semiconductor fabs need billions of dollars with long payback. Second, resource intensive. How? It requires massive water and a stable power supply to function. Third, technology transfer. Again, India needs mature chip making, intellectual property and global partnership which will have the technology transfer, which will again or definitely a major hindrance. Fourth, talent shortage. There are engineers, but they are lacking their specific need with respect to the semiconductors. This is the talent shortage part. And the fifth, the long timeliness. That means setting up of fabs takes many years and which needs the policy and investment and the tax tax shoot as well. So these are those things, the challenges for the Semicon India in 2025. Now again, this is the practice question over your screen, and I hope that you people have been continuously watching the daily news analysis initiative of the NEXT IAS and try to understand that in what context the topics should be studied and to read with. Keep studying, keep watching daily news analysis. Thank you very much. Keep studying.